Hey everyone, it's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my channel for this week's amazing live stream that I'm hanging out with these two beautiful people. Happy Valentine's Day! Happy Valentine's
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
everyone.
Valentine's Day.
Did you guys have a good day? I know Jayne did. Zach made her squeal.
Oh, yes, this has been the best day ever.
I did my reaction to that trailer. People are gonna hate me. That's okay. I made so much fun of that.
I was gonna be like, who's Zach? Who's she talking
Zack Snyder?
No, I know. No, I got it now. I'm like, what? Like, what did Nina? Like, Nina's sharing Jayne's business, whatever. Like, what the hell?
Jayne shared Jayne's business. It's on her channel.
I'm like, oh, okay, Zack Snyder. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah, John's going to go watch that reaction right after this. You know that's happening. You guys ready to talk some sci-fi movies?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, well, first tell everybody where they can find you. Hi, John. Everyone knows you already, but go ahead.
Hi, you can find me at my YouTube channel, John Talks, where actually I don't even do any talking. It's all misdirection. I just edit clips together. So that's what I do. I'll probably change that name eventually.
He talks during his live streams.
There we go. Yeah, sometimes too much. Yeah.
Never. Jayne.
Yes.
Little bouncy little hearts on your head. So cute.
Thank you.
Wait, before you introduce yourself, say your line.
Hey guys.
There you go. There you go.
You can find me here on YouTube where I post movie and television reviews and some pop culture commentary. You can also find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Jayne Theory.
Wonderful. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you two. We got a couple people in the chat. Let's say hi. Hi, Curtis. Hello, Tim. Good to see you guys. Gustavo is here. Everybody, happy Valentine's. He plays here. Apex. Hi, Apex. Good to see you. Diablo's here. Curtis is already sharing his list. Excellent Great stuff. List. Okay, so here's the thing with when it comes to like actual stuff, like let's say for example Star Wars on my list, I put like Star Wars, like A New Hope, because that's kind of like how it starts. Like you're introduced into that universe. But my favorite Star Wars movie is Empire Strikes Back.
Mine too.
But like the same thing with like, Terminator 2 for example, like Terminator 2, I like better than Terminator 1, but Terminator is the one that started it. So I feel like that's the catalyst.
I disagree. I disagree. I disagree with the idea of like, I think you have to choose a movie, Nina, as much as you don't want to, you have to pick a freaking movie.
I have 26 items on my list. I was getting physically irritated making this list.
Do you have them divided into tiers, maybe?
No. It was really bad, Jayne. I was like I was hyperventilating. I'm like, I like this one though, but I like this one.
Well, we could do honorable mentions.
We definitely could. Hi, Soul Assassin. Hi. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, fine. If that's how you guys want to do it, I'll fine.
Of course, not your 10. We'll all kind of read off our honorable mentions, and then we'll get in our top 10.
My honorable mentions is like 20. Oh my god. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ.
Wow.
All right. This is turning out to be like a hell of a live stream already. Terrible.
You're making it a lot harder than it has to be.
That's what she said.
I knew you'd
Jim? No, thanks. I'm good. That's what she said. Pam?
My mother's coming.
That's what she said. No.
All right. John, go 10.
Well, we're doing
in order all at once.
I don't know. Okay,
no.
What then? The honorable mentions then? Okay, here we go. Then I'll go because I have 26.
Before the 10, right?
Yeah.
So you have 36 altogether.
No, 26. 26 total.
Well, then just read your 16 honorable mentions, and then
All right.
we'll go one by one when it comes to the top 10.
Okay. All right. Jesus fuck. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Now you have to pick 16.
Oh my god. This is not good. Because oh my god. Because I put Alien and Aliens in the same category, and now okay. Fuck. All right. Whatever. I'm going.
Do it live.
11. 2001's Space Odyssey, RoboCop, Fifth Element, Mars Attacks, Galaxy Quest, Idiocracy, Minority Report, Independence Day, Jurassic Park, Contact, Dark City, 13th Floor, Soylent Green, Stargate, Highlander, and Donnie Darko.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Those are the honorable ones.
Okay. You want to go next, Jayne?
Sure. I have 4 honorable mentions: Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, The Matrix, The Terminator, and Tenet.
Boo! I mean, that's great. Those are great.
Tenet was fantastic. I don't care what you
Oh,
say.
I love you. We disagree so much. I disagree. I need that clip. Yeah. Okay. John, honorable mentions.
Okay. I'm gonna make a last minute change here. So Blade Runner, Aliens, Gattaca, Her, Arrival,
Wait. Gattaca, what? What was the other one?
Her,
Oh,
THX 1138, Aliens. Did I say Aliens? I don't
Yeah.
think I did. Okay. Fury Road, both the first 2 Mad Max movies.
motherfucker! I forgot Mad Max.
Yeah, that
And
was good.
I would throw Fury Road, not Furry Road, in there.
Fury Road. All right.
And Minority Report, Inception, of course, Nolan's films, Interstellar.
Right, Inception.
So these are more just like recent movies that I think, that stand out to me. But in terms of what stands the test of time, I'm going to be going back to some slightly older classics for the top 10. So
Absolutely. See,
Oh,
Equay's
those are
asking me if Idiocracy is sci-fi. Absolutely. It's sci-fi comedy because it's about time travel. And that's, to me, that if it's about time travel, it's sci-fi.
it's about the future. The future.
Mhm. Same thing with Mars Attacks. It's a comedy, but it's
Sure.
sci-fi. It's about Martians attacking the Earth. So that's as sci-fi you're gonna get. I love the way that they talk. They're like dot 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 dot, and then they have like the subtitles. It's so creative.
Was that based on a comic book first, or did the movie originally? I remember there was a comic book, but I'm not sure what came first.
I have no idea. I've never looked into the history of Mars Attacks. I just remember I freaking love that movie.
Jack Nicholson's in it.
Mm-hmm. Sarah Jessica Parker. A lot of people were in that. Apex says Star Wars: A New Hope, Terminator, Predator, Independence Day, Highlander, The Day the Earth Stood Still. That's a great
That
movie,
was
and I
really
forgot
good.
it. Fuck, I forgot that movie. This is bullshit.
I still have not seen that one. That's it.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back, Road Warrior. Oh, I forgot Road Warrior. Aliens, 2001: A Space Odyssey. See, this is what was happening to me. Like I was dreaming about sci-fi movies. Stony One. Hello. I always thought of The Thing as sci-fi. Yeah, it is. Of course, The Thing is definitely sci-fi.
They're all so good.
So good. So good. Her was really good with Mr. Phoenix. I never saw that movie.
It was weird.
It's definitely weird, but I'll take weird
I
nowadays
like weird.
than the regular. But it's different. Yeah.
What kind of sci-fi is it? Is it like robot sci-fi, or is it like time travel, or what kind of sci-fi?
So Joaquin Phoenix basically falls in love with this AI, and
Okay, so AI sci-fi.
yeah,
Okay.
played by or voiced by Scarlett Johansson.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have you
It's
seen
so weird.
Deus Ex Machina?
I have not seen it.
That's so good.
Ooh,
That's
so
what I
good.
heard.
As I just said that, I was like, I forgot that on my list. This is gonna happen a lot tonight. Yes, a lot of good sci-fi films. There's too many. There's just too many good sci-fis. Especially in the past, not so much recent ones. Tenet.
It's a great genre, though.
It is. It's just so good. It's just so good.
It makes you think.
I like stuff that makes me think. That's why I love sci-fi so much. Okay, so since we've done our honorable mentions, I think John's still working on it.
I know. I'm still tweaking it. Like,
I know. I'm the same way. Like, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, this is a terrible list. I feel like
Now you've heard all the others.
I've forgotten everything. Damn. It's funny too because I was like, I was even thinking about leaving out Star Wars because I was like, everyone's gonna talk about Star Wars. Like everyone knows Star Wars is great. I mean, look, he was like Darth Vader is like on the biggest icon. I know Star Wars is good.
It's the top 10. So.
It's definitely top 10.
Yeah, you got
no way
how can you?
it out.
No,
you just can't. You can't. Hello, Andre. He says Mars Attacks is based in trading cards. Is that true? That's interesting. Yeah, see, Fifth Element was on my list. Definitely. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that movie. Did you guys know that he's coming out with a new movie? Bruce Willis. There's a new sci-fi movie. I just saw the trailer. I was like, holy shit.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's called Cosmic something. I forget the name, but it looks dope. It's like totally sci-fi, and he's in a spacesuit and he's going. It looks really cool. Looks really cool.
Check it out.
Maybe it'll be Die Hard in space.
It's like Armageddon and Die Hard and Edge of Tomorrow. Oh my God, I forgot Edge of Tomorrow. All wrapped into one.
You should have just typed in like 100 top sci-fi movies to get ideas.
John, I did, and it nearly killed me. I had a heart attack last night.
I mean, that was just your list. You could just print it out.
I should have just printed it out. Call it a day. But what's funny is actually like I did that, and then there was a couple of like ones on there that I was like, I've never even watched this one. Like, what the fuck is this? But it is what it is. There's just too many freaking good movies out there. King Crow is confirming it was an old trading card series first, Mars Attacks.
That's kind of cool.
The more you know. The more you know. Okay.
All right.
All right. So shall we begin with our top 10 then?
Sure.
I suppose we'll give the reasons why, we have it on the list, right?
Yes,
like we're not just going to go through like
No.
Number 10.
We're gonna talk about why we think, certain movies, why they deserve to be on this list, and why, because movies are also subjective, right? Like for example, the fact that Jayne enjoyed Tenet so much and I hated it. So I feel like that there's a subjective element to it, like the way you see things through your eyes. So what kind of impact it had on you?
Sure.
Why you think what part of it did you enjoy the most? What made it, stand out for you? Things like that.
And my 10 are sort of divided by the top film in different aspects of film that I enjoy, if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean.
Yeah, me too. I'm kind of like that too, because this is extremely difficult. All right. Let's do this. Are we ready? Dun 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 dun. Jayne Theory.
Yes.
Number 10.
My number 10 is Avatar.
Oh, okay.
Avatar. The blue people?
Yes. And my reason is I love this idea of transferable consciousness.
Ooh.
And so this film represented, for me, a great example of that happening in the context of first contact with an alien or whatever species. So I thought that was really cool. And I love the world building, how realistic it felt, and the contrast between the human world and the Na'vi world. It was beautifully designed, beautiful colors. James Cameron is just an amazing director. And Sigourney Weaver was in it, so that's a win. And yeah, I really loved the various elements, but definitely that part of it the most.
How'd you feel about that whole weird hair thing?
I liked it. It was unique. It was something
very
I hadn't
different.
seen before, and I think it was influenced by actual either plants or animals that do something similar to that, if I remember correctly. So I love that they added that. It's a smart movie, as science fiction tends to be, but yeah, I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Wow, that's awesome. It didn't even make my list, Jane. I'm so sorry.
That's good. That's
Are you
fine.
still waiting for the second one?
I am, and the third and fourth, and apparently they're making 100 million of them. So yeah, I'm
I
ready.
thought there was supposed to be 3, like total.
I think they're making like
He was
several.
planning a trilogy or something, or was
He
it
may
a
have been
saga?
planning it. I think it's a saga.
Oh, yeah, he's never. This is gonna be like a George R.R. Martin thing. That's. Jeffrey Turner, hi, says my love for the Terminator inspired me to make my Terminator lore account tech.com. Excellent. See, this is what happens. Sci-fi inspires people to do things. That's why I love sci-fi. It's my favorite thing to read, my favorite thing to watch. Hey, Kaoru says, my number 10 is The Dark Knight Batman, and my weakness is when the art fails to project on screen. Project on screen. I don't know what that means. But The Dark Knight, do we count superhero movies as sci-fi? I don't.
I'm not. I'm counting like superhero as a separate genre because
Me too.
that's just going to complicate this more than it
Way
has to be.
too. That's also the reason why we didn't add like animation onto the list. This is a live action thing only, because if I had to add anime on here, that would be a top 100.
We'd never get through this live stream.
Never. It would be like an 8-hour long live stream, like the way John and I used to do it. I miss those days. So the Grifter, hi. Hello. Okay, so John, is that all you have to say for your number 10, Jane?
Yeah.
Okay.
To the point.
All right.
So great.
My number 10 is, gosh, like I've been struggling here too, so I'm trying to like sort it all out. I'm gonna go with Clockwork Orange for my number 10. Kubrick. I don't know. Every time I watch this movie, anytime I watch a Kubrick film, you just see something or you notice something new, and you just appreciate the craft more and more. But I think Clockwork Orange is actually just one of his best movies in general. But it is, I don't know. It asks those deeper, kind of like those deeper questions of like the origin of evil, or and how does somebody become evil? Is it something that you can train somebody out of, or so it asks, it's got this like overarching, it's asking the bigger questions, put in this kind of futuristic weird version of London, I think, or England. But yeah, visually, I mean, that's the thing too with sci-fi. It's like, I think you got to hit those visual elements, and you got to ask those bigger questions. And for me, Clockwork Orange, it checks all those boxes. So,
wow. So do you want to hear my Clockwork Orange story?
Sure.
I've never seen it because, well, not never.
It's not a story.
I watched it. I started to watch it, when I was really young. I was like 14.
Okay.
And that rape scene, I was like,
that's pretty
I'm
intense.
out. Like
That's
I had
pretty intense.
nightmares. I had nightmares. I was like, I can't watch this movie. And I like turned it off and I had nightmares about that scene for like days afterwards. And I was like, I'm never watching this movie. So I never watched it.
Yeah, it's it is pretty disturbing at points. Yeah, it is. I will say, like, thinking about it though, too, it really does like create this atmosphere in this world. And like you definitely feel like you're in it. And I think that's one of the things that you also have to achieve for like sci-fi greatness is you have to like create this world and you know, for the viewer to at least suspend that disbelief and believe that this actually exists. And but yeah, that scene is probably one of the most disturbing scenes in all of cinema for sure.
I think like now I would be able to watch it because I'm like, you know, I'm a grown ass woman. But when I was like 14, it was, and it was like my worst fear. Like, you know, when you're a girl and you're starting to realize certain things about life, you realize that was like my worst fear ever. And it was like just so intense. And I was like, like, you know, it was just, it was worse than every horror movie I've ever watched, even The Fly. And you guys know how much I hate The Fly. Oh, yeah. So it was worse.
That didn't even make it. That film is just so grotesque. There was like, it's hard to
never. That is going to be on the next list. The worst sci-fi movies of all time.
I don't think it's bad, but it's just like, disturbing. You know?
No. Yeah.
It's like almost just gross for the sake of being gross.
Exactly. So yeah, that's why I've never seen Clockwork Orange. Not because I've seen every other Kubrick movie except for that other one that you always tell me about, and I haven't seen that one either. But yeah, but I love Kubrick in general. That's why like it was physically like killing me not to put 2001 in my top 10.
Well, it should. It definitely should.
It did. I died a little bit inside. Hey. So yeah. Okay. So all right. Fuck. Now it's time for my number 10. Yep. Okay. My number 10 is They Live.
Ooh.
Because I think it's an absolutely like an apt description of what our world is going through in a lot of ways. Like, especially with just everything, especially with the media and like how much they're trying to program you. Have you guys both seen They Live?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have not. I've got to see it because it's not,
really good.
It looks good. I know what movie it is that you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so like to me, and I watched that movie also when I was very young, and it was one of those movies that just like hit every point because I was like, I've always been that girl that thought there's something wrong, like, you know, in the world and the way we live and the way we look at things. So I was like, this is so interesting to me that like in this sci-fi just so like put it so well that like, you know, and I can't really explain it too much because John hasn't seen it, but
I've seen bits and pieces of it. You know, when he puts on the glasses and
when he puts on the glasses and he sees everyone for who they are, and he sees like how they're kind of programming people to think a certain way, and I think it also has one of the best fight scenes of all time in movie history. And the reason I say that is because when you wake up to the truth, it's a physical, like it's like you're actually physically being like you have to sometimes you have to, like it's like a physical thing, like you're getting knocked out when you get red pills, like you're getting knocked out because the truth is so just devastating. And it's like as if that movie was putting this on screen, and it's like these two dudes just knocking each other out in the parking lot, and it just goes on, and it's so weird because what it added to the story, even though it seemed so ridiculous, it had a purpose. And I loved it. I love that movie so much. So, and it affected me a lot. So number 10, They Live.
I'll definitely have to check it out. It'll be on my list.
Nerd cookies. Hello, Elaine.
Hey, what's up, Nerd Cookies?
Ooh,
Yeah, it's cold.
wind chill and 5 degrees. Did you see my picture today? I hope you're not jealous.
No, I love the cold. I prefer it. So I'm in my element.
Oh, girl. Come and hang out with me in Cancun, Nerd Cookies. We'll go for drinks. So good.
Wait, what? She's in Texas, right?
Uh-huh.
She can't complain about the cold.
They're getting a real bad cold front
Yeah, it's
right
like
now.
a freeze.
Like,
Mhm.
wait,
Like a
how
deep
cold
freeze.
is it?
It's like
Around 5
minus
degrees.
13.
What?
That's the wind chill, I think. Yeah.
Wait,
Minus
how
13
cold?
Celsius. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You're
well,
going Fahrenheit.
that doesn't count.
I think
It counts
in this
everywhere else
region's
in the
going to
world
be
except for the States.
below 10
Yeah, let me
degrees
s-
Fahrenheit.
All right, let me see. What does that translate to?
Cold.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Jane? What was it?
I said everywhere in this region is going to be below 10 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, so it's actually freezing. So it is like
Yeah.
32. Okay. Which would be what, 0 Celsius or whatever?
I heard it was like minus 13 in some places in Texas,
Oh, okay.
like Celsius.
That is cold. That's definitely cold for Texas.
The director says it's snowing here in Austin.
Wow.
Yeah. It's actually going to get colder over the next 24 hours.
Meanwhile, it's like I'm trying to translate it into Fahrenheit. It's like 80 degrees over here. So great. I love this place.
All right, I'm leaving.
80 degrees
Yeah,
is hot.
leave and come to Cancun. Everything's open. We can go to the beach, we can hang out, drink Mai Tais. So fun. Yeah, so number 9.
Number 9. My number 9 is Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yes.
like
Guess
it.
Yes.
what, Jane?
What?
That's my number 9.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy here. So I rewrote my list.
Mhm.
So this was if you see on the side here, which you're not going to be
can't.
able to see, but I did put Planet as 9. So we all put it as 9 on our list, which is pretty wild. So we'll be talking about the same movie, everyone.
It's where it fits. So the reason why I picked it, I love the time travel element for sure.
Mhm.
But I also like this concept of evolution and sort of mutation and genetics and all of that.
Mhm.
And this idea of sort of things reversing, I guess, over time, where animals advance to this particular level of humans and humans devolve over time to like an animal species. It was just, it was unlike anything I had seen the first time I saw it. And I just absolutely loved it. And it just stuck with me.
Now we're talking about the original, right?
Yeah,
I'm
the
talking
original.
Okay, yeah, not the
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg.
No.
Okay.
Even though I like that too.
I like that one too. I like all of them, but
Yeah.
the first one is like the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The one with Charlton Heston. You maniacs! You blew it up. That one.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it gets more. I mean, that's like one of those scenes that's just iconic in nature. And I just, for me, it's like I saw it as, I don't know, I was probably like 13 or 14. And it just, the first time I seen it and after I was done watching, it just blew my mind.
Me
And
too.
Rod Serling, by the way, Twilight Zone creator, he was the writer of that movie, I believe. But yeah, for all the reasons that Jane said, I mean, it's got all those great sci-fi elements. You know, it's like time travel, space travel, and you know, even like the hibernation, thing where humans can, be asleep for, thousands or hundreds of years. And
When they found the humans, like that was like, I was like, oh my God. Like, and they were like all worshiping like the nuke and everything like that. I was like, this is fucking amazing.
well, that's number 2.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's number 2.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
But Yeah, I think it's kind of a slow burn at the beginning, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I haven't seen it in a while, but it just had such an impact on me the few times I watched it. Where I went off and I rented, like my brother and me, we rented all of the subsequent Planet of the Apes films, which I don't. Jane, Nina, did you guys see the whole series?
Yeah, I didn't see the fourth one though because I was just like, I don't know if I'm feeling this one, so I didn't see the fourth one.
The fourth one was, I thought the fourth one was great. That's where like Caesar, that's kind of how you get to, like how they took over. And so the first one though, hands down, is like the classic. But the other ones were pretty good, and it does create that time travel paradox also, which is pretty cool. So
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the whole thing and then watch 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just freaking mind bending after I got done seeing that movie. It was which crazily enough though too, if you've seen an episode of Twilight Zone, I shot an arrow into the sky. Serling does the same thing where he makes you think they're on another planet, or in this case, they're on like an asteroid, which, limited understanding of how things worked back then. And then at the very end, his character finds out he was on Earth the whole time. So,
wow.
So he's visited.
I think I've seen that one.
I'm sure I've seen it. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
Because they all blend together after a while, the Twilight Zone.
They do. And I haven't even started on the new Twilight Zone. So,
well, which one?
I tried watching the first one.
Like
Jordan Peele's.
Oh God, I didn't even know he made one.
Wow, Nina, way to give it a chance.
Nah. But I like the other one, like the 2000 one. That was good.
Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, I haven't really seen too much other than the original.
I mean, the original one is like way better, but it was so good.
Yeah.
Gen X says all these movies John has seen, but Die Hard gets the back burner. He's seen Die Hard now.
I have seen Die Hard.
He's in the club now, guys. Give him a break.
I think I like being outside the club, actually. No, it was good. It was good.
Oh, Gen X says, in my opinion, Peele sucked. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I tried watching the first episode, and I really even after after he put out the first Super Bowl ad for it, like it was a great ad. And I'm like, okay. And I liked Get Out. I thought Get Out was a pretty good like sci-fi / suspense thriller. I mean, I think it falls in the, I don't know, does it fall in the sci-fi genre?
Yeah, definitely.
I think so. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So but I guess he wasn't writing this though. He was just like producing it. So I was kind of disappointed. And the first one, I don't know. It's just, there's something now they made it black and white, or they have this black and white version available too that you can watch to try to, I don't know, I guess try to recapture that eeriness of the original series. But there's just something but he's not that series isn't the first one to not live up to the original. I mean, they've all fallen short in some sense. And that, I think that just speaks to the brilliance of Rod Serling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, that's how I felt about the other Twilight Zone. Because I was like, there's just no, like, it's just like, you can't recapture that. Like the Outer Limits kind of came close a little bit, but like, it still wasn't even like, it still wasn't the same.
Black Mirror does a little bit. You don't think?
Black Mirror. Yeah. Black Mirror.
I haven't watched all of it.
I haven't watched the entire series, but I probably watched about at least five episodes, and they're really good. So
I watched the Electric Dreams though. That was good. That was really good. It's the Philip K. Dick stories. It's like the mini series. Those are excellent. Hey, Adriana. Wait, okay, so whose turn is it? What are we doing?
Well, there's Planet of the Apes if you want to share anything else.
The only other thing that I can say about Planet of the Apes is that I love monkeys, and it had monkeys in it. That's pretty much that's it. That's all I got. I mean, everything else you guys already said, but
Yeah.
I fucking love monkeys. So the moment I saw monkeys, I was like, I'm in. Yeah, Team Kong.
Cool.
Justin Proper, hi, says 2001 should not be on the top 10 list. It was boring and impossible to get through. Well, it wasn't on my top 10.
I'm banning Justin Proper from your channel.
Okay, go for it. Do it. It wasn't on my top 10 list, but it physically hurt me not to put it on my top 10 list. So
Yeah.
As it should. As it should.
It did. It did. It broke my heart. Justin says I'm a mod. Ha ha. That's easily changeable, Justin. Just letting you know. Just letting you know.
So you think you're in control? Does it feel like you have power?
Oh, I'm so tempted to I actually just went into the channel. I'm like so tempted to take the wrench away, like just right this moment. It's like, and you're not now. Get out. No, just joking. Okay. So number 8.
Number 8. My number 8 is Blade Runner.
Ooh.
For so many reasons.
Mhm.
I like the idea of scientific breakthroughs,
Mhm.
sort of getting out of hand, and this concept of artificial intelligence and humanoid robots,
Mhm.
and this discussion, or I don't know, debate about what it means to be human, basically.
Great
Mhm.
question. Yeah,
And I
great.
love that that's explored through this film. I also like the more recent Blade Runner too, by the way. But
I
there's
did.
nothing better than the original.
Oh. Sorry.
It was solid.
It
I
was
thought
good.
2049 was really good.
I freaking
Yeah.
hated that movie.
Wow.
Yeah, and I love Harrison Ford. So there's that.
So that was that's also on my list, but it's number 3.
Ooh.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers. Well, I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I think Blade Runner is a great pick. I mean, it was pretty close to make. That was the one I was debating on. Like, do I want to put it? Does it make it into my top 10? And it probably should. I'll need to watch it again. It's been a minute since I watched it, but like you said, Jayne, I think it asks it's just that question of what it means to be human. Again, like great sci-fi movies have to ask like those bigger questions. Like if it's just people in the future running around shooting lasers or at each other, it's like you got to have more to it. And I think Blade Runner does. It is one of those films that has stood the test of time.
And it's a beautiful film too.
Oh, it looks visually stunning. The new one too, I thought was I thought it was great too. Roger Deakins did a great job with it. All right.
I absolutely love Blade Runner on so many levels because well, first of all, just the sheer the expanse of it, like how much aliens you see, like the world building, the way it was done. You got aliens, you got AI, you got robots, you got cyborgs, you got flying cars, you got just everything, everything that you want in a sci-fi is in Blade Runner. It asks all the important questions. It makes you think. It makes you think about your own consciousness, what it means to be human. It was visually stunning for its time. Just like everything, there's so many things to say about this movie, and of course, like Harrison Ford was at the top of his game in this movie. Everyone was just so amazing in this movie. And it's just like one of those timeless movies. Like every time you go back to it, you appreciate it for what it is, and like it makes you love it even more because you're like, wow, like what they achieved with this movie. It's something that it's like a lightning in a bottle. You probably can never achieve that again in some ways. because like, you know, like and the reason I say that is because as time is going on, we like everything is becoming more CG. Like as we saw tonight with like the Zack Snyder thing, like everything is CG now.
Yeah.
Like Blade Runner was all sets, makeup, just everything. It like just sucks you into that world, and it like to me, it's just, you know, the pillar of what sci-fi, you know, needs to kind of reach. So that's it. That's what I gotta say about Blade Runner.
Yeah, great movie. Somebody said great poster too. They were commenting on the poster.
Yeah.
Great marketing. I mean, they don't know how to market things these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great.
Yeah, it feels epic. I mean, this is like Ridley Scott at the top of his game. I think this is like the Ridley Scott golden age, where it's like you get Alien and Blade Runner around the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's weird because his movies just feel, and probably because he is more reliant on CG, but I feel like he's lost something. Like those older movies definitely, I don't know. They you know, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Gladiator, because I think Gladiator was really good. But you know, there's something about Ridley Scott, some of these movies he made in the 80s that just were, you know, just like very atmospheric in terms of
his recent one did that for me though. Raised by Wolves.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but
I was like, that's like Ridley Scott just like tapped into his old like the Alien
channeling.
South. Like, yeah, like, you know, and it has like so much of his stuff in there with the androids and everything like that. They even have like white blood and everything. So it's like literally like that feel, just like the way that we were like, again, with Zack Snyder tonight, like you get that feel of like, oh, this is Zack Snyder. You're like, okay, I'm watching this and that's Zack Snyder. It's the same thing with Ridley Scott, because he's got a certain feel and you're like, okay, this is it. That's him. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not his best, but it's pretty good. Well, like the Raised by Wolves 2 was like the first 2 episodes what was actually directed by him, whereas in the rest wasn't. So the first 2 episodes, like you really feel the Ridley Scott effect. I wish he had directed more, but can't have it all. Can't have it all. What the hell? Okay, hi.
Hey, what's up, Runner?
That's not Runner. It's a Sandman says run.
Sandman says Runner. Run, Runner.
That's funny. But yeah. So Blade Runner, great movie. Great pick. John.
All right, number 8, we're talking about number 8. Back to the Future. So this movie just has a lot of nostalgia for me because I watched it probably like 30 times as a kid. I had just this VHS tape that I wore out. Yeah, so that was again, it's more of a, I think it's just more of a lighter, like it's certainly more of a lighter take on time travel, and it's fun. But yeah, it's just one of those movies that always stuck with me. So it's entertaining as hell. I think,
entertaining.
You know, yeah, between like Doc, Marty, Biff, you know, it's got some great characters. You know, there's just, you know, to me, it's just one of those just fun films to go back to and watch. And yeah, it's probably on my top 10 just because it's stuck with me for those reasons.
Guess what? It's my number 8 too.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Back to the Future, baby.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, come on. Time travel, fun. You can always go back to it. There's certain, like, it's just timeless. It's a timeless piece, literally and figuratively. It's just great on so many levels.
Yeah, I like how they don't, like, there's the flux capacitor that just explains time travel. That's it. You know, Doc just bangs his head on his toilet, and that's how he got the idea. And you don't need any more explanation.
No, it works. It just works. And it because it's like the way we were talking about comedy sci-fis, because I feel like that's kind of like a comedy fantasy sci-fi because it's not a serious one. It's not like, certain other sci-fis that have been out there and you're like, it's not dark, right? Like there's
Sure.
there's a certain thing about it where you're like, this is just fun. It's pure fun. There's action, there's just all this stuff. Like it makes you think about so many things. And then they had just like the 80s, the way it's filmed. It's another one of those lightning in a bottle movies for me. So definitely 8.
And I like the idea of the past influencing the present too.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool aspect to it.
Yeah.
Justin says, I refuse to watch Blade Runner because I don't know which version to watch or which version I can most easily pirate. Watch the original, man, because there's no there's no comparison even. It's just one of those things. Like you like Back to the Future, so you like 80s movies. Just watch the original.
Yeah.
It's Harrison Ford. Top of his game.
Free somewhere. Like you don't have to Don't be ridiculous.
I know Justin loves Back to the Future. That would have probably been number 1 on his list. He's just so in love with it.
If you want to see a creepy video on YouTube, to put in 9/11 Back to the Future.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Do I really want to watch this?
It's a little difficult to watch the movie the same way, but
I wonder if Justin's watched that.
Yeah, I forgot what the video is called, but they point out how 9/11 is actually in the film, and then Robert Zemeckis, like 30 years later, did a movie about the Twin Towers.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that.
No.
I watched that a while ago when I was like, into the whole conspiracy theory situation.
I haven't seen it.
It's pretty eerie.
Yeah. Do I want to? Yeah, that's one of those things. Maybe not.
Once
Maybe
you see it,
Unplugged or not.
Well, then he talks about in the sequel Back to the Future how in the background, where Marty goes into the future and he's in his house, they're on the projector. There's a character that's upside down on the ceiling, and if you put his point of view, the projector like messes up, and so it's like running up. But if you take his perspective and point of view, it's like the towers are falling down, and it's the Twin Towers in it. So.
Wow.
And in the living room, there's like a Statue of Liberty and stuff. So it's pretty.
Oh, yeah, I remember this as you're saying this. It's like it's all coming back.
Yeah. And when he goes, in the twin, not to get in this conspiracy thing, but the twin.
Please do.
So it's like the Twin Towers, they turned into the One World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. So initially in the past, there is the Twin Pines Mall that he goes to. And on his way back, it's the what is it? One pine, or it's just a sole pine, or what?
Wow.
So he sets this whole thing up, though, how the pines are the towers. It's almost pretty. It's like comically repetitive.
I love that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go rewatch that just because.
Definitely.
Yeah, that sounds great. But yeah, so Back to the Future was my number 8 too, because it's such a great movie.
Yes,
just on so many levels. And I had a picture for it, but I forgot to pull it up as we're talking.
So Lone Pine Mall. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. Watch the documentary, Robert. I'm not saying that he's spot on with anything. I'm just saying it's like all these things are pretty. They're interesting. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I 100% buy into it, but
do you guys what did you think about how like some people said that Biff was like Donald Trump?
There's a likeness there, I think.
I think there's a likeness there too.
I think it is a personality type though. Just certain people fit it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an archetype.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think in the sequel, the way Biff looks, he does look like Donald Trump, and it almost makes you wonder if I think with the hair and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It makes you wonder if they did style him after Trump, because he's in a casino, he's got a casino around him. So it seems like the character is loosely based on him. for
God, I
sure.
really hated Biff when I watched it at the
He didn't really
beginning.
look like that back then, though, did he?
Like Trump.
Yeah. Trump didn't look quite like that.
No, it's weird because he actually looks more like the future Trump.
Right.
That's why it's so weird.
Yeah.
Because with all the stuff that we're talking about with the Twin Towers and how they kind of like predicted the future, they kind of predicted that too. Like this dude in power, looks like Donald Trump. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Well, there's those books out about what was it, Barron?
Oh yeah, Baron.
Yeah, The Last President. Yeah, that
Mhm.
where he's a time traveler or something. I mean, really bizarre stuff.
What? I've never heard of
You've
this.
never heard of this?
No.
Yeah. So there's an old book out. I think it's from the 1900s. I think it's called The Last President. And then there was also another book written after called something the Baron. And I think there's even a character in there named Trump, and there's time travel. It's really weird.
A lot of coincidences.
A lot of
Yeah.
coincidences.
Maybe
Franco
Baron.
Vaughn is a really old Biff looks like Biden. Oh man, that's funny. John did a great video recently of Biden walking through the White House with Jill. And there was like a tweet that said the White House looks like an old folks home. Just walking through. It was so funny.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
hilarious.
back to sci-fi. Number 7.
Number 7. My number 7 is Jurassic Park.
Ooh,
Yes.
Mm.
The original. And for one quote, Ian Malcolm, we all know it. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Mm.
And that just, I mean, it represents the entire film, really. I love the aspect of these being historians and scientists and archaeologists. I love that sort of thing. And I like in terms of a psychological, I guess, element, this question about man sort of becoming God and our creations getting out of hand, and the implications of that over time. And yeah, I love that aspect. Not to mention the fact it's just a beautiful film. When I first saw it, it was just so majestic. The
Yeah.
animals were done so well,
Mhm.
and everything was so realistic. And when the raptors are introduced, they were terrifying. So yeah, all of that. I just loved it.
I kind of wish the kids would have been eaten. Am I the only one?
Really?
Yeah.
That would have been definitely would have
Dark.
left a different impression.
Yeah.
I think
I
a
just
kid has
want-
yet to be eaten in a Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, I want one of like I don't believe that. Like I feel like the freaking dinosaurs would eat the kids.
They
I
get
just-
the kids first, probably.
Yeah,
Right?
they would do it. It's
But
just,
there was the scene in the car though where they're being attacked. That was terrifying.
That was
Yeah.
man, oh man. That's like certainly on my like theater experiences. Like that scene was incredible. It was like time
Mhm.
stop for me. But I got JP on my list a little bit later, so I'll talk about it then.
I mean, look at your shirt. I
Yeah,
feel like that
obviously,
might be number 1.
obviously,
Spoiler alert.
not my number
um,
one, but
Oh, okay. All right. I forgot that movie. I didn't even put it on my list.
What?
Yeah.
what?
I completely forgot it. It just
I'm just surprised you
escaped-
forgot.
Yeah, it escaped my brain. There's so many. I'm telling you, John, I was physically ill making this list. I stressed myself out way too much with this live stream. I don't know what happened. It was terrible. But I can tell you this. I hate Jeff Goldblum. So I cannot watch anything with him in it. Therefore, Jurassic Park didn't make as big as an impression on me as many people, but I still love the movie. It's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. Such a good sci-fi.
I like him.
I mean, dinosaurs. I wish the kids would have gotten eaten, but I fucking hate that guy. He's the Fly. I can never unsee him.
Oh,
He's
Lord.
like, every time that he's on the screen, I picture him coming out of that fucking thing and like the skin falling off his face. It's just every time. It's like that. It's just the way it is. It's just in the brain. But I know that's a terrible reason to not remember Jurassic Park, but
Sam Neill was good in it.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he was great.
How dare you?
Dr. Ellie.
Yeah.
Why the hell can't I remember her name? Who played her?
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern, yeah.
I feel like this is what Justin's saying to me right now.
How dare you?
That's pretty much it.
It's a good movie though, but I just feel like because they made it into like a kids movie, I feel like it could have been better. I feel
Nina she just wanted kids getting eaten.
I want a
Right.
Zack
You want a
Snyder
horror
cut of
movie?
Jurassic Park. I want a Snyder cut of Jurassic Park. Let's get that going.
Can you
Let's go.
imagine how
I think
dark that would be?
Yeah, kids are be getting eaten left, right. No, I do think there is like a horror element to the film. Like it does feel like it's certainly more sci-fi, but some of those scenes, and I feel like that's what these other movies haven't been able to capture, is like that scene with the T-Rex in the middle of the film. Like that's how you do like your midpoint in a film, where that scene just was like, once the T-Rex came out, broke through the fence, it was like, oh shit, man. Like you could, like, that theater was dead silent. It was just an amazing. Well, I'm not even there yet. I'm gonna shut up.
Wow. Okay. Go for it. What's your number?
We're talking number 7. Alien.
Oh.
Yeah, talking about, now this is sci-fi horror for sure. I actually saw this film a little bit later in the game, and I still think that Alien, I know a lot of people think probably prefer Aliens over Alien, and that's understandable. I think it's definitely a much more, it's an action film dressed as a sci-fi film. Not to take away the sci-fi element, but I mean, Alien is just creepy as it gets. Like, it is just, it's, in my opinion, Ridley Scott puts on like a masterclass on how to build suspense. And you put that in space and you are trapped with this freaking alien. I mean, it's like if you think about it, it's a slasher film, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like, you've just changed the elements. Instead of the slasher is the alien. Instead of the haunted house, it's a freaking, you're out in space, isolated with nowhere to go. And the poster, from what I heard or what I seen, is no one can hear you scream in space.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't, I mean, I wish I could have seen this. I was too young at the time, but I wish I could have seen it in theaters, because I heard people were just losing their shit.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish that I could have seen this movie in the theater as well. I never saw that in the theater. But yeah, Alien's amazing.
Yeah. It's on my list. It's actually higher in my list.
Yeah, mine too.
Okay.
This time I'm not spoiling the number.
Well, it's funny, as I was writing down these movies, it's like I had it as I was just jotting down first movies that came to mind. It was like 3. And I did do some juggling around, but it's definitely, it's up there for me. The set design too, I just think, just the way it's filmed, everything about it, it's like, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I have so much more to say about it, but yeah. I'm gonna wait until I get to that number. So good. All right. Okay, my number 7. We're talking number 7, right? The Abyss.
Oh, okay. Cameron.
I love The Abyss. I think it's it was a really cool movie at the time when I watched it. I was much younger. I love like the ocean, mysteries and stuff like that. Like 3,000 Leagues Under the Sea is one of my favorite all-time stories. So like just the fact that like they go just deep in the ocean and there's aliens and there's just like the feel of it, the sound effects. Like, I mean, you want to talk about sound, Nolan?
Yeah.
That movie has got some great sounds, like the way it gets the heart pumping and you're like, oh my God, like, it makes you feel like you're there in that, and down in the ocean with them. And it on every level kind of gets you, especially when you're a kid. Like it was a little freaky. You're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Yeah, I love The Abyss. I think it was a great movie. You get James Cameron top of his game too at the time, I think.
Yeah, I haven't seen in a while, but obviously it's like you could see Cameron carrying over the special effects into Terminator 2 and then even the deep sea stuff into Titanic, like probably his experience with that film definitely carried over in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. I think it did. But I feel like The Abyss is very underappreciated. Like Mega Matt said here, I feel like it's one of those movies where like people just kind of like gloss over it, because I think around the same time as it was either Spielberg's what's it called, the Alien movie he made, not E.T., the other one, Close Encounters. It was around the same time as Close Encounters that it came out, I think.
I think it was later
at the time, but it just didn't get as much love as a lot of the other.
Oh, The Abyss was 89 actually.
Mm-hmm.
Close Encounters was like 77, I think.
Oh,
or,
okay.
Or
Well,
78.
much later then. Never mind. But it was something else that out at the time. I remember that it kind of got glossed over, I feel like. But yeah, that's it. That's my favorite. I like The Abyss. I like ocean mysteries and aliens. All the actors were great. Everything was great. It's a great movie. It's fun.
Yep.
1978. Number six.
My number six is Interstellar.
Ooh,
great movie.
Yes, great movie.
I
A
love that.
Nolan film starring Matthew McConaughey, who I absolutely love. It involves space travel, which is freaking epic for me. I love this idea of searching for habitable planets. I think something we probably should be doing. If we're not, I love that we got to see different types of planets and the differences in gravitation and time differentials, and I love that there was this urgency to it, and mistakes would happen, and then all these years have passed on Earth. I just thought that whole
that was awesome.
it was awesome. Yeah, so I just it was like this world, but different. And beautiful. Talking about set design, here it was just unimaginably immersive, and I loved it. So yeah, Interstellar.
I really love that movie, Jane. It's actually I didn't put it on my list, but not because I didn't want to, because there's just so many movies I love that I just had to compartmentalize a little bit. But I talked about this movie at length with John last time, but it's just so good, like on so many levels. And it's, it really like captures the human emotion of what it like. I think it's more about that than like the real sci-fi aspect of it. It's kind of like glossed into the sci-fi. But I just love this movie on so many levels. It's so great.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely, I don't know if I did it is on my honorable mentions, but I might have missed it. I guess the one thing that's holding me back from putting it on my top 10 was like, I'm going to give it a little bit more time and see how how do I feel about it overall. But Jane, like, I agree. It's because I watched it recently. Somebody said it's one of those few movies that made me cry. And it is one of those movies that actually manages to, like, one of those sci-fi films that manages to really pull on your heartstrings. And
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It was very emotional. It's like a very emotional movie, and I love that about it. I thought that it was more emotional than sci-fi, but like but I just loved it on so many levels.
The sound design.
Oh man, yeah,
freaking epic.
yeah.
So good,
Hans
so
Zimmer.
good.
Yeah.
Justin says Jeremy definitely cried. Oh, it was good. Oh man, Gafford's Dog Cube is a sci-fi horror hidden gem. That movie, first of all, I forgot that movie, but my fucking God, the first time I saw The Cube, I was just
mind
I was like, holy shit. Like, it's just one of those movies where you're like, I feel like my eyes got raped. I was like, what is happening?
Have you seen the other ones?
Yes, I have. I've seen all of them.
They're so
I was
freaking
hooked. I was hooked. I'm like, I'm into this. And then they tried to like redo it with like, there's just like new movies now that try to do what The Cube did, but it's just not. It's not
The Circle.
same.
The Circle is one. It was kind of similar. It was good.
I thought The Circle. Yeah, I thought The Circle was all right, but the ending just kind of was like, eh.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah. But great premise, But yeah, it does seem like it. I haven't seen Cube, but I've heard about it.
Oh, you have to.
Oh, well, I don't know if I haven't seen it for so long that I don't know if it's like aged as well as,
aged really well. Like
it has.
That's another movie that I watch at least once a year.
See, I've never seen The Circle. Because I was like, I've seen The Cube, and I'm like, that was the OG. I don't think I'm gonna watch anything else. Get out of here, Circle. It's a fucking cube. But yeah, like that is definitely a hidden gem that I forgot from my list. But man, that movie really
freaks you out.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good movie. Okay, so did you go, John? Number 7? We did. Oh no, we're at number 6.
6.
Oh my God, I just deleted my list.
Okay, so number 6 is Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh.
So,
okay.
I don't think I need to. I don't think I need to explain why, but great sequel. Just great. Actually, a sequel. I mean, it's arguable that it outdoes the original.
I would say so.
I think it does, but it's weird because they really are like two very different films. I mean, obviously they're about the same characters and everything, but it is like The Empire Strikes Back adds so much more character and dimension to the characters, but also to the universe and everything. It's like the first one is archetypes, and then the second one is like fleshing out these stories. So it's like, okay, now we're gonna zoom in and we're actually gonna like look at these characters. And of course, the reveal, the ending, Vader being Luke's father is just like, I mean, it doesn't get more iconic than that. I wish I can't remember when I first saw it, but it's like one of those things where I wish I seen it when I was older to actually appreciate or not already find out about the ending, because I think by the time I actually saw the film, like it was already kind of a known thing. I could be wrong, but it's so good on so many levels from start to finish. So I'm sure we'll be on somebody else's top 10. So we'll talk about it.
It's a little higher on mine. But yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you just said. I just wanted to address a couple of things in the chat here. Franco, it was in my honorable mentions list. As I said in the beginning, if you missed it, my honorable mentions list was like a lot. I have like 11 more movies on there. But Dark City is one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. It's so good. It's so good. It's a hidden gem. If you guys haven't seen it, you got to check it out. It's so good.
So good.
That's Raimi, isn't it?
I think so.
I think it is. Yeah.
But it's one of those movies. So good. Can't say enough about Dark City. And the other thing that I was gonna E.T. made people cry. Some people find E.T. kind of creepy. I was one of those people.
It is when you look back at
Oh my
it.
God, John, you too?
Yeah, I think that's why I couldn't watch it as a kid. I could probably watch it now, and I might feel differently about it now. But I was kind of just creeped out as a kid by it.
I thought it was weird. I was like, I don't.
As
like
a kid, I thought it was cute, but now it's like,
Just the way he talks too. It's like E.T. Now I'm thinking of The Office where Michael and Holly are imitating it. But it's just, yeah, I could do without it.
Yeah, me too. It didn't even make my list because I was like, I fucking hate E.T.
Wow.
I did like E.T. the ride. E.T. the ride was so cool. Have you guys ever been on?
Yeah,
E.T.
I've been
the
there.
ride?
Yeah.
I love that place.
She hates the movie, but she loves the ride.
Because they went to his planet. E.T. the movie sucked compared to the ride. I was like, if they had gone to his planet and done like all this stuff, it would have been way cooler than like just E.T. being on Earth.
I feel like E.T. is more of a like. Don't get me wrong; it's definitely in the sci-fi category, but it's more of a drama than it is, sci-fi.
Well, no,
Am I wrong?
Got an alien. No, it's got an alien, John. Come on.
yeah.
Well, no, it's sci-fi, but it's like it's sci-fi drama.
Yes, it is.
Like the element of it's about a relationship, between
just like Interstellar. Yeah, it's drama. Is Time Bandits considered sci-fi? I don't think I've ever seen Time Bandits.
I haven't seen it either.
I think, yeah, I believe it is. I've seen it on my Amazon when I'm scrolling through the sci-fi stuff. I've never seen it though.
Justin says, hot take. Empire is really only better than the original for the I am your father plot twist. But if that was ruined for you, it has zero effect. Hard disagree with you.
I disagree.
I disagree.
I disagree. I will get into why when it gets to my turn.
Justin, you're wrong.
Yeah, I'll say this as a kid. As a kid, I think I liked Return of the Jedi a lot. And I think I liked the original Star Wars a lot. And I don't think I appreciated Empire Strikes Back at the time. But as I watch it older, I mean, it could have easily been past the original. Like I could have, but I still got to give the original its due.
Zero Rewind says, I'm wondering if any of you are going to have Hot Fuzz on your list. Once again, it didn't make my list, but Hot Fuzz is fucking awesome. But I don't know if I would consider it sci-fi though. I guess it is because it's
Hot Fuzz.
I mean, I love Hot Fuzz. It's so good. It's zombies. So is it like is that considered sci-fi? I guess.
Yeah, why not? I don't
know. But it's a great movie.
I think I Am Legend would fall in the sci-fi. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that takes place in the future though too.
Jane, you have to watch Hot Fuzz. You guys both have to watch Hot Fuzz. It's so good.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I might see it like in a couple of years.
I hate you. So yes, Kai says I love Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz is so good. Gotham says it isn't sci-fi.
Right.
So I don't know. Some people say it is. Some people say it's not. It's one of those things. I didn't really consider it sci-fi either, personally. But
Gen X says sounds like a porno.
It kind of does.
It does. It does sound. It's an interesting title. We'll say that.
I think that's what they were going for. It says it's the spoof of the Wicker Man. I've never seen the Wicker Man.
Wicker Man was so good.
I've never seen it. I should.
I've never seen
Oh,
Wicker
it's scary.
I think Stieg was talking about it one time.
Sandman says Empire was darker, but this makes sense since it was the second act.
I mean, if you think about it, like George Lucas could have just easily tried to replicate A New Hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of kept the same tone and the same, it's like, hey, we're just going to go on another adventure and, he could have tried to replicate it, but the fact that like Empire Strikes Back does take such a, it's a much more intimate turn too, like, and it is darker. It's just an interesting, like obviously it's hindsight, it's the right choice to go with. But I think at the time, while it was still critically acclaimed, a lot of people, there were people that didn't like it because of that. They were just like, oh, I just wanted like this happy space movie, where it's like happily ever after. And so I think people were, I could be wrong, but I do think people were a little bit thrown off by it.
Very interesting. Okay, so is it my turn?
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right. My number 6 is Predator. Because it's fucking awesome. I mean, there's nothing really you can say about Predator other than it's amazing. It's awesome. Arnold Schwarzenegger kicks ass in that movie. You got this, it's creepy as shit. You got like this like alien hunting this dude in the forest. And it's one of those movies where like, I mean, and then it ends up being in the same universe as Alien, and then you have like Alien versus Predator, and it's like this whole thing. And I love that. I love that idea that there's like this history between Alien and Predator later, and it's just like, it's great. But Predator in general was just, I don't know. It was just like Alien. It was one of those movies that I was like, I didn't expect what I was going to watch. And then it was amazing. It was so good.
I didn't like it at all.
Really?
No.
Is it because of Arnold that you didn't like it, or you just didn't like the Predator as the species?
I just didn't like that character, that species, that thing. It was just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, see, I like the idea of a predator species. I think that they exist. And I think they do hunt. And I think like I love that idea of like this, like the species of this. And they did that actually in Star Trek too. Like they actually kind of built on, of course, John has no idea what I'm talking about, but they kind of did that in like Star Trek Voyager and Star Trek DS9, where they have certain like hunting species and stuff like that, which is kind of like an homage, in my opinion, to Predator, the Predator species. And of course, the second one is also really good. Like I love the second one as well. One of my favorite lines of all time is in that movie. Like, take that pussy face is the best line.
That's probably like one of the reasons why Jayne just is not feeling the movie.
It was so good. But that's the other thing though. Like you don't see his face for a really long time. You have no idea what he looks like because he's got that helmet on. Even like the poster here was Arnold. Like you have no idea what is looking at you. There
looks like a video game almost,
Yeah.
It's like pixelated too, the target.
Yeah, because it's an older movie, but it was like, there's a reveal to it because you're like, what is this thing that's just hunting this dude? Like what? Like it's so powerful. And I just liked it. I like the sci-fi aspect.
I do think it would have been fine as a game. Like they did something similar in Fortnite where they made a predator thing in the little cage and you can go in and hunt it and it hunts you or whatever. So that was fun, but the movie itself, no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like I feel like you can, like if we're talking about, and not to like, I don't want to downplay, the film that you picked, but I guess for me it's like in terms of like what it does, like does it do? I don't know. I guess it's just like it's a very basic, premise, which is fine because that can work, but. Yeah, I guess it just doesn't do anything outside the ordinary for me, or like, but it's been a while since I've seen this movie, so I'll have to, maybe I'll have to give it another shot.
I like it because it introduces a certain type of species, like, and I like that. I like that it just kind of like gives you this idea that, like that an alien species may not necessarily come to like, just take over the earth or whatever. That they're like this like very powerful species that they just come for the hunt. And I like that idea that that's their society is based on that fact that they want to hunt different species. And like somebody else pointed out in the chat, and yes, it was the Hirogen that was based on the Predator. And I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. Schwarzenegger's got 14 letters. I never realized that. Not only is he huge, but his name is huge as well.
Yeah, Latino Sun. Hi, Polly. Says amazing flick, badass character, simple goal to kill the ultimate warrior. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't really it's so simple, simply shot, gives you all the thrills. You're just kind of obviously you're rooting for the human the entire time, but you're like, holy shit, like what's happening here?
Get in the chopper.
But yeah, so that's it. Number 5.
My number 5 is probably not very popular either. It is Looper.
Ooh.
So I love Bruce Willis and I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt as well. And both of them are in this. I like the idea, of course, of time travel, but I like too this idea of interferences and paradoxes and stuff like that. So here you have the future people interfering and interacting with their past people and all these rules they're supposed to abide by. And I always like the idea of meeting either your future self or your past self and how that would go. And it's explored here where they're actually at odds with one another or they're enemies where they're trying to kill one another. I thought it was really cool. It was just something quite unique. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's really interesting.
I have not seen it. I still have not seen it. As much as I've criticized Rian Johnson.
Yeah. I remember I watched it and highly disliked it. And I didn't even know that it was by Rian Johnson until now. And now I know why I disliked it so much. There's something inherently wrong about that movie. And now I realize what it was. But that's cool. That's interesting, I guess. I have nothing good to say about that movie, so I'm just gonna move on. Jayne,
Got nothing nice to say. Don't say it at all.
It's on your worst movies list.
Yeah, it might be actually. No, the other one I feel like is worse. Jumper or whatever the hell that was. That movie.
I like that.
I think we read the review on that.
I liked it though.
I never.
Franco liked it. It was really good. Several people liked it in the chat. Not Sandman though. It was Yeah. I mean, like I didn't hate it, but I just remember it was very unmemorable for me. Like I was like, I don't, like it didn't leave an impression.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking. I'm thinking about Bruce Willis. 12 Monkeys would probably be a good honorable mention.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like
it's
the
weird.
television show too.
I haven't not seen the television show, but it's just weird how like some of these movies, it's like, oh yeah, fuck, totally forgot about that one.
Yep. Yeah. Now you know how I feel. All like the entire show. That's been me. All right, John. Number 5.
T2, Terminator 2. I'm going. You gotta have, we gotta have Arnold somewhere in there, but no, we gotta have James.
Did in Predator.
Yeah.
Stuff. Wow.
Well, no. Well, we gotta have James Cameron in there too. I mean, you can't. I can't have. You just can't have a top 10 without James Cameron. So, Terminator 2 is one of the best sci-fi action films ever made. It still has yet to be topped. And, I think it's one of those sci-fi movies that actually stands out for its action. But again, it still asks this bigger question, can the future be changed? Can we alter it? And but just some great action set pieces, special effects, especially at that time, were groundbreaking, but they still hold up today.
Yeah.
So music, everything. I think it's still, I don't know. I think arguably you could say it's still Cameron's, in my opinion, I think it's probably his best film. But yeah, T2, just good stuff. I mean, that movie as a kid was incredible, and it still is incredible.
So good. Such a good movie on so many levels. It's really sad to see what James Cameron decided to do with the movie in the end, but still one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion. Terminator.
Dun, 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 dun.
Everybody agrees, all around. Just everybody.
Yeah.
Justin Proper says Rian Johnson makes amazing movies, just not good Star Wars movies. I disagree. Again, that dude sucks. Okay. My number 5. Anything else you want to say about T2? Anybody?
No, I think I think everybody knows.
Everybody knows T2 is great.
Yeah.
Well, my number 5 was Empire. So, and now I'm going to tell you why you're wrong, Justin. Because greatest sequel of all time, in my opinion. It introduces new characters like Yoda, that you're like, I mean, I already thought this movie was amazing, like, New Hope. And then you're like, how could this get any better? And you get Yoda. You get one of the greatest sound music scores of all time. The theme of the Empire, which just like, I remember the first time I heard it, like literally like just chills to my very core. Like it was just like I had hairs like standing on my arm as I was like hearing this movie, like the soundtrack just, hit my ears. I was like, it just on so many levels, that movie's good, not just because of the ending quote, not just because of the twist in the end. There's just so many things good about it that, I mean, I'm just sorry I couldn't place it on higher on my list, but it's just like, and it's changed cinema forever. Star Wars is one of those things that's changed cinema forever, and including the Empire. So I hard disagree with you about it, but Justin. But yeah, so that's mine. Number 5, Empire.
Ooh.
Anyone else want to say anything else? Should we move on to number 4?
I mean, would Empire be as great if there wasn't a twist at the end, if you didn't find out?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I think it definitely adds, I think it definitely adds to the impact of the movie. But,
of course, but how could you but that's the movie, right? Like, I mean,
sure.
I don't
think it's not relying on the twist though. Like it's not like you're waiting for the whole movie, and it's like, let's see. Proper says, I'm not saying it's bad. I just think Star Wars is better than Empire.
It's higher on my list, so I'll say a little bit more then.
All right. So number 4 then, Jayne.
My number 4 is Inception.
Ooh, yay.
Good pick.
Good
Yes. And Christopher Nolan film, Leonardo DiCaprio's in it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the technology in this film and how it's represented. I like this idea of being able to enter and affect someone's mind or their consciousness. That's a really cool concept. And I liked how the different layers were represented and the rules that were established and what happened when they violated those rules. I thought that was all really cool. The sound design was amazing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
he did everything right in that movie. He did everything right in that movie.
It's one of those movies I can just watch over and over, and I'm entertained every time.
Yeah, I just watched it like last week because we were doing that Nolan stream, and I was like, "This is his best one. It's his best one for sure.
So
I
good.
think so."
Yeah, it's really good. Definitely in my honorable mentions. But that film just blew me away too. Seeing that in the theater and soundtrack, Hans Zimmer.
Oh,
So good.
It might be his best. I don't know. It was incredible.
it's in my playlist. Several
Nice.
songs from
Wow.
that track.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it.
What
I love soundtracks. So
Yeah, I think Interstellar and that one, of course, like the Batman. I think the Batman trilogy or the Dark Knight trilogy has a great, I think he did a great job with that too. But yeah, I think those two movies, like between Inception and Interstellar, like Hans Zimmer just added like a whole nother layer to those films.
yeah.
In the same way John Williams kind of does for Star Wars. It's like, could you imagine if like someone else did the score for Star Wars? Like the film would be totally different.
No, it wouldn't be the same. That's what I'm talking about with Empire. Like the music is just so powerful. Like it's like and it wouldn't be the same without the music. You think it would? Like that's what I think actually is like
Somebody could have seriously fucked up those movies with the music. Like, when you think about it.
It absolutely could. That's why I didn't like Rogue One. That's why I didn't like Rogue One, because it didn't start with a Star Wars theme. I'm like, if it's not going to start with the freaking theme of Star Wars, it's not a real Star Wars movie for me. Like that's
I
how.
disagree.
Well, I know you do. I don't care because music is
disagree.
important.
I don't think that's. I don't know.
I just feel like music is so important. So like if you had a different type of music in Empire, that would take more away from it rather than it not having the twist in the end.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to do some like just fun videos of like somebody else, like if George Lucas had other people scoring the movie before he picked John Williams.
You
Like,
should
what
do
if
it. You're the editor here.
Well, what if they did some like some like bow chicka wow wow, like they did some like real 70-ish
Porno
stuff.
music? Jesus.
Well,
Christ, dude.
Well, it wasn't like more 70-ish sounding or just some different like, and then you get into the 80s, like Return of the Jedi, if it turns in this like very synthesized soundtrack or something, like it would have been interesting. I mean, obviously the choice to keep it as timeless as possible was the correct decision for sure, but it's just so funny to think like those films, like the music is just such a part of the personality of those films. You take that music away and I don't know, you could have a very different movie.
Okay. Are we is that it? Is it whose turn is it now? Is it your turn, Tom? Or did you just go? I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, because Jayne just went Inception. So all right, number four, Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay.
So.
Wow, not number one.
Yeah, and I actually probably put it higher on my list than I originally thought I would, but it is, I don't know, I feel like because it's like a blockbuster film, that Jurassic Park doesn't really get its due in terms of how smart of a blockbuster film it is a blockbuster film, but it just doesn't get, I still don't think it gets the credit that it deserves to this day in terms of like, I think because the CGI was the big story of like, man, they really brought back dinosaurs, but it's also just the concept and the idea of the movie, which I know Michael Crichton had, it was Westworld, this idea of like a theme park where the attraction turns on people, but I think I grew up loving dinosaurs and they were always like, I was watching dinosaur documentaries before Jurassic Park ever came out. And I was just fascinated with the idea of like these massive creatures that once, ruled the earth. So you put them along with humans and you're able to give like a realistic explanation of how they were able to do it. And you put that in a freaking theme park. I mean, definitely credit to Michael Crichton's book. But from what I understand too, is that they deviated quite a bit from the book. And it seems like it seems like for the better. Like David Coep he just wrote a really great script, I think. And, it delivers. It just delivers on the visuals. It delivers on, what Jayne talked about too, like that theme. And it kind of harkens back. Like it really is like this new take on Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Man creates a monster and the monster turns on him. And, just what a creative way to do it. So I can't speak highly enough of it because, when I seen that movie in theaters, like it made me realize like what was actually possible too, in terms of like films. And at that time, or especially like later on, having these ideas of like what you could do with filmmaking and possibly pursuing it myself, it was like, I mean, it just opens up the door. And now we've seen it ever since Jurassic Park, like that film, there's been like this sci-fi explosion. And, of course, like I think you can credit T2, but I don't think, and probably, yeah, I feel like T2 was one of those first films, but I don't think you can, like the way Jurassic Park did it, like it was just such a revolutionary, like I think now we take it for granted what you can do with CGI, but back then it was like, holy shit, these dinosaurs actually look freaking real. Like they actually look tangible and they're moving like they're real. And I mean, I never saw anything like it. So for a movie to actually do that, and especially when you think about
when you first saw it,
it's probably like 11.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 11. So, it actually
that car
real.
scene did freak you out.
Oh, hell yeah. It was great. And I think Spielberg too, like Spielberg's on the top of his game with that film. Like in terms of like building up the suspense, you put that movie in the hands of another director and they'll mess it up. They'll find that it will not be nearly as good. And so while I haven't been, of course, like that impressed with Spielberg as of late, but like that film too, for me, like solidifies just how good he is in terms of like building up to that scene, just showing you just a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. And then when you finally get the reveal, it definitely makes good on all those like, silent promises that are being made up to that point. So that's it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. I love that.
And none of the other Jurassic Park films are even close.
I really wish Jeff wasn't in it, because if he wasn't, then I would have enjoyed the movie so much more.
He's so good in it.
He's so good.
I know, but I hate him.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, too, great character arc with, and that's what also makes this film really good too, is like you have it, like Dr. Sam Neill's character, Dr. Grant, you see like there is this character arc going on throughout it where like he warms up to these kids and he evolves, right? And that's kind of like the last image of the film. While I think it is still, I don't necessarily think that dinosaurs or birds evolved from dinosaurs. I don't buy into it, but I do like the theme of the film in terms of like evolution, the idea of change. And
I don't think the theory is that they evolved from dinosaurs, is that they de-evolved into birds. I think that's how it's going, from what I understand.
Sure. I mean, either however you want to take it.
But they just got smaller. Sort of like dogs from wolves.
Right. And survived. I just personally, I'm like, I think there's some issues with that, but this isn't the discussion for it.
Yeah,
but,
of course not.
But with that, sorry, I don't want to like deviate us more. But with that said, I think the theme is really good, and it really is about like at the heart of it, it's about a man who changes through this horrendous and traumatic experience. And he's a different person by the end of the film, So that's too, there's just another layer to it. Whereas like all these other subsequent films, especially like Colin Trevorrow's Jurassic World and gosh, the Lost, or the latest one, Fallen Kingdom, like they're not even fucking close. Like they drop the ball so much. They forget about what made the original great. All right, I'm done.
I was actually gonna ask how you feel about the sequels.
I almost walked out of the theater of Forbidden, or not Forbidden. What was it? Forbidden Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom. The movie's so bad. I blocked it
I
out.
don't think I watched it. Is that the most recent one?
It's
I don't
so
think I
it's
watched it.
shit. It's
I
so
liked
bad.
it.
Oh, Jayne coming out with. Oh my god.
That's fine. I mean, I wasn't.
But I mean, it's not the first set of films. It's sort of its own new
Sure. I actually liked.
category. Yes.
Sure. I mean, I actually didn't mind Jurassic World. Like, I thought it was a fun popcorn flick. You know, I
Mhm.
thought it succeeded on that level, and I did think it was maybe, it could have. You could say it's better than Jurassic Park 3, and maybe even, it's probably on par with the second one, if
I
not better.
freaking hated the third one. I was like, this movie is trash compared to like
There's
the first one. I was like, no.
They're
This
saying
is-
that the next one is going to pull all of the movies together.
They all want to do this weird
Okay.
Marvel thing. Like, oh, we're all just gonna pull all the movies together and put them
Yeah.
all into one.
In Endgame.
Yeah, like everyone wants to do that. Like, just stop it. Get some help.
The
Uh,
Ian Malcolm of Fallen Kingdom was terrible. That cameo was so bad,
That was terrible.
and it felt like
Mary
the
says-
performance was just like, what the fuck? Like, it
They
just
oversold it. That was the only thing in the trailer, though, and it's like that's his only appearance in the movie.
Oh, hi, Mary says Lost World is the redheaded stepchild of Jurassic Park.
He ain't lying. I mean, it's not far off.
Oh,
Such
that's
a-
funny.
I like Blue though. Blue is cute.
Yeah, Blue is cute. I like Blue.
Well, I think she's talking about the sequel. You
Yeah.
know, Lost, not like Jurassic World, but Lost
Talking
World.
about- yeah, Fallen Kingdom.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's the whole idea of using raptors as military weapons is like
It's
this
so
whole,
ludicrous, but
it's so ludicrous. But I
It's
guess
so
the way
dumb.
it's treated in Jurassic World, you just kind of like, yeah, whatever. All right, you're going down this road. Let's just go. Let's have some fun. Let's see some dinosaurs and
Right.
running alongside motorcycles.
Oh my gosh. I remember seeing that in the trailer. I was like, what the
I didn't even see the third one because I heard so many people say it was trash that I was like, well, I'm not gonna waste my time with this. Okay, so are we done with Jurassic Park?
Yep.
Anything else? Okay. My number 4 is Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Wow,
Okay.
the original.
The original Star Trek. I feel like as a Star Trek fan, I have to put that on here. Like it's just like a like I cannot not put it on here because like for so many reasons. I feel like, well, for one thing, I feel like if you aren't even a Star Trek fan, like if you're just like a sci-fi fan and you're like, I just want to watch a sci-fi movie about like, people in space or whatever, you could watch this movie, have no idea who any of the characters are, and it still would be good and you would still enjoy it. And it's just one of those stories where it's like a timeless story. It makes you think. It's one of the original like AI stories and how like this, the Voyager like, came back and like became sentient. The idea of like, humanity, sentience, what makes you sentient. I always thought the idea of Voyager itself, like, cause how Voyager's out there, I always thought that is interesting in itself. So I always thought the plot is so interesting because I think that it could possibly happen in our world, that could actually like take place. And I just think that this is I think this is one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made. Like there's just so much to it, like aliens and just everything. Like and we all know what Star Trek is, so it's just I just think it just stands on its own as a movie. Whereas in like, for example, like, even like Empire, like you can't watch Empire and know what's going on if you watch that first before you watch A New Hope. Whereas you can watch Star Trek, the motion picture, and never have watched the series or anything like that and still understand everything. So yeah, that's it. That's one of my favorite movies.
I've never seen it. So I'll have to see.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen Wrath of Khan. So I've seen 3 seasons of the TV show, and I actually liked it. So I got to get into it.
Like I said, John, it's one of those movies where you could just watch it and not even know who any of the characters are. It would just be one of those. It would just be one of those movies that you will understand it just based on its premise, how it introduces the characters and what it's about. It stands on its own as a standalone movie.
And I love that they were smart enough to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because these days there's so little creativity, they just can't.
People are shocked. This is almost more shocking than you not having seen Die Hard. But it's all good. We can still be friends. All right. That's
number 3.
That's all I have to say. Yeah, number 3.
Okay, so my next 3 we've talked about. But number 3 for me is Alien. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
And for a lot of the reasons we mentioned, the aliens, the set design was freaking amazing.
So good.
The score, and so it was realistic. You know, it was so gritty.
Yeah.
I love the score. I love the fear factor, the desperation, and I always love when characters have to improvise using their environment to fight back against a threat. So that was really cool. Yeah. So. Love it, Alien.
I love Alien. Justin, he has seen it now. He's seen it now, but finding
about
out.
Die Hard?
Yeah, he's seen it now. But I'm saying, like, when I found out that John hadn't seen Die Hard, I feel like this is almost as bad as when I found that out. But it's fine. We're not going to talk about this movie. Jayne, great pick because it's higher on my list.
It's another one of those movies you can watch anytime. It just never gets old.
I mean, I think I watch it every Halloween. So yeah. So yeah. Okay, John.
Number 3, The Matrix.
Ooh,
okay.
So
forgot about it.
Yeah, The Matrix is like one of those films that's like I just think it's like a great allegory. Like it's an allegory for like for life, right? And it's and to also be entertaining though. Like to take some, it's like the best of both worlds. So it's like if you want like a deep movie, but you also want something that's gonna be visually stimulating, but also like action packed. Like this movie does it all. And, I think in terms of like the special effects and the cinematography too, I think is just really well done. Everything about it, as much as I'm not really a big fan of the Wachowski brothers' other work. It's just weird. They've never really lived up to the greatness of the original, but the original certainly in isolation is, like, they could have just stopped making the Matrix movies, and
that would have been it. It would have been perfect.
This movie still would have been fine. Like, you don't need a trilogy or anything, but they cashed in. So I can't blame them. But but yeah,
it's higher on my list, so I'll talk about it when I get there. Sisters, John, sisters. They're ladies now.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently, the Matrix is now an allegory for being trans. I don't believe in that. I don't believe it. Yeah. I call bullshit on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's more based, like, certainly it's based on one of the inspirations, it seems, or what I read before was like Plato's allegory of the cave.
It is.
I do think that one character switch, that character may have been, representative of trans or something, but not the entire movie.
No. Yeah. And also, it says Keanu will become a woman in the next movie. Well, I first of all, I thought that the next movie should be called Transtrix or Transmatrix. I also thought that it was going to be like the next one that like basically Keanu or like Neo is going to be a woman and then Trinity is going to be a man. So it's going to be like some sort of, they're going to do some weird shit with that. I know. I just know it. I know it. I know it. And it's just, it's bad. It's all bad.
Matransics. That's what it means.
Trans tricks.
It's just so like really because you couldn't do like they couldn't really make a good movie. What Jupiter Ascending?
Oh, that was a terrible movie.
Yeah, I mean, so many of these movies that just really didn't land.
Cloud Atlas was all right, but it was
I know it was a box office bomb.
Yeah, but I mean, like, but it was a huge undertaking though because the book is so complicated. So it's just one of those things. Like, I mean, it was good, but it was like not nearly as good as the book. So, it's one of those things.
I give them a little credit for trying something original.
I did too. That's why I didn't mind it. But they were still the brothers then. So they still had some creativity in them.
It just feels like they're coming back to the Matrix because it's like, oh, that's all we got now. See? Like we gotta fall back on this. Like this is the one successful thing we did.
It's not even though. That's the most interesting part is they've had some sort of falling out. It's only Lana that's doing it. So that's also the other interesting thing is they're not doing it together for number 4.
The other one's like, I better get my royalties, bitch.
Pretty much. Yeah, like the funny part is that like for what 30 years of their lives as brothers, they like made one of the best movies of all time, and then as sisters they had a fallout, and now they're like they don't even talk anymore.
It's so stereotypical.
Such a catty thing,
Such a catty thing to do. They're women now, so like they don't even.
I'm not talking to you. It's over.
Whatever, bitch.
Man, they really went all the way.
Yeah, sisters really fight. Like when sisters fight, they fight. That's it. All right. So number 4. Oh no, number 3. Are we number 3?
Number 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. Is it my turn now?
Mm-hmm.
Number 3?
Yep.
Blade Runner.
Okay.
Ooh.
And I already said everything about it, so we could just jump right into 2.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jayne.
My number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the Future.
Oh.
Ah, nice.
Yes, I love the time travel element. I love the changing things or trying to, because I would love to be able to do that. I think that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always liked the idea of traveling to the future just to see what it's like, what's different. So seeing that explored here was really cool. Seeing your parents when they were younger, that sort of thing. So yeah, it was cute. It was fun. It was adventurous and just a well-rounded, well-done movie.
Justin really approves of this. He wrote it twice.
The other thing too is like if you think about he's like fighting for his existence too.
Yeah,
like, he's trying to keep himself alive because I mean it really is like it's a very comical element, but also just works for like it's awkward too, the idea that his mom falls in love with him and
so
awkward.
Yeah, and now he's got to try to bring his parents back together and play matchmaker. I mean, it's just it's so, and it's not like those like laugh out loud comedies, but the whole premise of it is really there's a lot of those moments. So
I love how like Futurama made fun of that, where Fry is basically like like his own grandfather, and he's like, I did the nasty and the pasty. I love Futurama so much. Oh, so good. Okay. Anything else you want to add, Jayne?
No, I think we talked about it. So
yeah,
I just enjoyed it. It was really cool. It's again one of those movies you can watch over and over again and you just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good
Michael
stuff.
J. Fox is the heart and soul of that movie.
He does such a good job.
So
Yeah.
good. So good. Did you guys see that picture of like them
Eric
together
Stoltz.
and they were hugging? That
Oh,
like recently?
what,
Doc
Christopher
and Hardy?
Lloyd and
Yeah.
no, I didn't.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, I have to pull it up then. Okay, hold on.
Okay. I guess Eric Stoltz, and I'm sure Jayne Theory probably knows this too. I guess they filmed a little bit of the movie with Eric Stoltz because they couldn't get Michael J. Fox, and then they were eventually able to get him. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah.
There.
There's pictures. Wow. Christopher Lloyd is, he's not doing too bad. How old is he?
I have no idea. Let's see.
They were a great team though.
They
Yeah.
really were. He's 82 years old.
Wow.
He
Okay.
looks good for that.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah,
great.
not bad. I mean, I think because they made him look old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
They definitely it's
They
like
made him look then as old as he is now, probably.
pretty close to it. Yeah. But they had a chemistry for sure.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Justin. That's why it was definitely on my top 10 list. Like I just feel like that movie it's timeless. It's one of those movies that every generation can enjoy. I mean, I'm still waiting for that hoverboard, but
The car was really cool too.
yeah,
DeLorean,
cars,
yeah.
yeah. So
It's gonna
good.
do it with some style.
Yeah. All right. So number 2.
All right. So my number 2 is Star Wars.
Like The New Hope or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I'm not talking about Phantom Menace.
No,
I'm not talking about Phantom. No. No, the original Star Wars before George Lucas called it A New Hope. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do I guess do we really need to explain it? Yeah. I mean, it's just one of the. It's a classic, and it's still it was made with, I think that the budget wound up. George Lucas got like a $10 million budget, wound up going to 13. But what he was able to do on that small of a budget for that time, and the world that he created, and how imaginative like he was, I mean, it just goes to show that like budget isn't everything, and throwing millions of dollars at a movie isn't going to make it better if you don't already have like a really good idea and a concept to begin with, and although I will say, very, very interesting thing to watch on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, catch this documentary. It's like 20 minutes, how Star Wars was saved in the edit. And it actually shares how George Lucas's wife had a lot to do with how good that film actually wound up being. So,
wow.
Because she was one of the editors, and she deserved that Oscar. Because after you see the changes that they made, not to take away anything from George Lucas, because he did an incredible job, but all the decisions that were finally made with that film made it what it was, and of course, you put John Williams to score. So it really was like, sure, George Lucas he definitely deserves the bulk of the credit, but there was certainly like everything. It was just lightning in a bottle, just having the right people around him to just, create something that will, it's going to last for years to come. So how Star Wars was saved in the edit though, because Star Wars could have been very different. So it's pretty interesting.
Justin Proper says, see, even John agrees Star Wars is better than Empire. There you go.
I mean, they're close. It's neck and neck, for me. I think they're both great, but for some different reasons. So, I mean, but you can't get Empire Strikes Back if you don't have the original.
Exactly. And this is why I was having a difficult time picking freaking prequels or sequels for my list. And I was like, I hate this list so much. Okay. So number 2, is that Is that all you wanted to say about?
No, I'm gonna go on for about a half hour longer, and
Sure. You have the floor. I'll be right back. No,
I'm sure. I have a feeling somebody else might bring up Star Wars, anyways. But no, I'm done. I'm done.
No, actually, because I originally had Star Wars, like the Star Wars as my yeah, I changed numbers because you guys told me I had to pick one, so I picked Empire instead of, because Empire is my favorite Star Wars movie, so I picked it for my number 5. But I couldn't remove the other movies. So yeah, my number 2 is Alien. And because Alien, and again, going back into the sequel prequel thing, Aliens I like better. Like I like Aliens better as because it's an action movie. It's, you know, it's very different. I like it better than Alien. Like Aliens, I like like the second one I like better than the first one. But Alien is something that you like when you think sci-fi, you think Alien. Like there's just, it's one of those things where, I mean, it's just like this ship, the characters in space, and then this freaking creature that just, you know, like it's just terrifying. It's, you know, it's on so many levels, just like you guys said, the sets, the way it's built, the way it makes you feel, and just everything. And Sigourney Weaver, like, I mean, my God, one of the best performances. And like, talk about powerful women in cinema. Like, I mean, I love her as a character. So yeah, of course, Alien, hands down.
Absolutely.
Hands down. So number 1.
My number 1 is The Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh.
Yes. I loved it. I mean, I loved it for all the reasons why I love Star Wars, but I also feel like in this movie, you began to see that bond of friendship and family really solidify. And I love that you saw sort of this, I don't even call it evolution, but you saw Han sort of become more of less the rogue and more of the dependable brother figure in the family.
Yeah.
It was really more his movie to me, and he's one of my favorite characters. So I loved that. And yeah, the story itself, I disagree with those who say, you know, but for the twist, it wouldn't be as good. I loved it from the moment I saw it throughout all the way to the end. So for me, it would have been number 1 regardless. So yeah.
Yeah, it's that's why it's such a shame what they did with Han in the Disney movies, because you see this character arc, and you know, by the end of Return of the Jedi, it's like, it's, you know, this change that has taken place. So for them to go back, you know, for just say, oh well, now he's, you know, he left Leia and he went back to smuggling. It's just like, way to undo everything. That you did. Like, you freaking morons.
I just want to address this. Sorry, not to go back, but I just want to address this. I don't think so, because I think it's both at the same time. It's just one of those things, because you cannot have a horror movie set entirely in space in a spaceship with a giant alien and then just say it's more of a horror movie than sci-fi. The entire premise is science fiction. They're in space with a alien creature. That's science fiction at its core. Yeah,
I mean, I get what Curtis is saying, though. Like, I don't think he's saying that it's not sci-fi, but it is like it's a slasher film in space. Just, you know, you just change around. Like, it doesn't really, you know, it's not like exploring these, I think, like, these bigger ideas, and it doesn't need to. I'm not, you know, it doesn't matter. But you know, it's definitely both. Like, I'd say it's like sci-fi horror.
Yes, Justin,
you know?
exactly. It's both. It's
Yeah.
horror and
Mhm.
sci-fi. It's both. It's two good things in one. All right. Number one. Unless Jane, are you done with?
Oh, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. Number one, John.
2001 Space Odyssey.
I knew you were gonna say
Proper. Eat it. You know,
that. There you go, Curtis.
yeah. So to me, it is like you probably don't get Star Wars if you don't have 2001. Not to say that's why it needs to be number one,
Mm-hmm.
but I rewatched it recently, and it's just one of those films where. All right, I'm banning you. I don't believe in cancel culture, but in this case, it will suffice. But no, I mean, it really.
His wrench.
Did you seriously? No, it's a film that's just like it's even hard to articulate, but it's just like larger than life. Like it's like you don't get Interstellar, you don't get Star Wars, you don't get so many of these space films, and the way Kubrick did it, and the way he shot it, and the music, it's an experience. Like, no bones about it. And there is an actual bone in the film, no pun intended. But, the mystique and the mysteriousness of it, the way it's left up to interpretation as to like what happens, like that to me is like some of the benchmarks of great art, where it is completely subjective to the viewer. It is left up to your interpretation. It's left to you to wonder. And, yeah, I think 2001, especially after seeing it the last time, I probably wouldn't have put it so high on my list, but because after watching it, plus HAL 9000 or HAL 9000 is probably, one of the greatest villains of all time. And again, another man creates monster type of story.
Now, let me ask you this. The real question is, have you read the books?
No, I don't read sci-fi. I just watch movies.
See, I, however, have read all of them. So, and I know that the book is way better. Just letting you know.
See, I don't. I like. I don't.
It's a good movie.
See, in this case, I don't think I'd want to read the book because I like what is left in between the lines,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess I like the style of how Kubrick did it. And for some people, a lot of people, it's going to be like, oh, it's too slow or whatever. But
he got demoted for this.
I would advocate for proper to have his wrench back.
No, of course.
Maybe after the stream though.
Yeah, this is just.
He's in timeout. That's all.
He's in timeout. That's all that's going on. I mean, how could you not like 2001: A Space Odyssey?
I mean, I
literally
get
killed
it.
me not to have it on my list. Like I was like,
Again, it should, but I also get it though. I also get it. The movie's like it's slow, but that's the thing. Like when you're patient with the film and you allow yourself to kind of get immersed in it, like that's when it becomes an experience. But I think nowadays everybody wants they just want shit blowing up. They want action. They want to. They don't want to have to actually think what is being communicated here, what is being said here, what's the point of this? Like everybody wants to be hand fed and just everything. And it's like, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, maybe it's left unexplained. So you can actually start thinking about it for yourself.
Right. I feel like this might be the reason why you didn't like it that much if you were a kid and you watched it, because it's very intellectual. You probably didn't have the intellectual understanding that you do now to appreciate it.
I mean, I do understand how somebody could say oh, it's a pretentious movie hiding. Like it's hiding as it's hiding as something greater than it really is. But I actually think I just simply disagree. So, I've heard the criticisms. In fact, 2001 didn't do all that great when it was initially released, but Yeah, Curtis, it was brought up. So yeah, 2001. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. And you might be like, "What the like? Seriously, John? Really?"
Justin, I gave you back the rent, so you watch it again. There you go. So
He was in there bargaining for it.
he was. He was like, if you give me back my rent, I'll watch it again. So there you go. Please. Slow pacing. See, I feel like everyone people don't appreciate a good build up. Like this day, like I feel like this day and age, like just it's like one of those things where like I hate when people are like, oh, it's a slow burn. And I'm like, that means it's a good movie. Like there's a setup. There's
I mean,
payoff.
like I understand it because it's not like just because a film or a show moves slow, like doesn't always mean that it is good either. Like,
yeah, no,
you know,
you're right.
that doesn't equate to something good as well. But in this case, I just think, you know, if you're patient with the film, and again, it's one of those films where it allows you to kind of fill in the blanks and really think about, you know, what is humanity's place in the universe, how big the universe is, and how much we don't know. And I just think that, again, the experience of it all and those kind of thoughts that it conjures or, you know, brings up, you know, for me is it's just a deeper, like it's a deeper movie than probably anything else I feel like it is on my list. So
I mean, I like really agree with you on that. And the War Dog, I agree with this very much because it was very cerebral movie from Kubrick. And it's just, I actually feel like if you did watch the movie, you might read the book, you might even appreciate the movie more because it's such a huge undertaking. Again, like we were talking before with the Wachowskis going after Cloud Atlas, because that was a huge undertaking. Kubrick pulled it off for what it was. It was just that it's just you get so much more detail as you do with every novel, but it's like it's just in its own right. Like it's a great movie, but it's just like that Arthur C. Clarke is one of the most you know, he's just great at sci-fi, and 2001 is it's such a grand story. I mean, I almost wish like Kubrick had like lived long enough to make the entire thing, like make 2010 and 3001, because like, you know, it is a trilogy. So I would have loved to see Kubrick's version of 3001. It would have been amazing.
yeah, it'd be interesting if he would do it. I do think like Interstellar was a movie that could have like benefited a little bit more from pacing it slower.
Yeah,
because you know, that was my only criticism of the film, where it's like let us get a little bit more of this, you know, of this world or of this planet. You know, it's just like you know, like let us get a little bit immersed in it before we just like, okay, boom, you know,
back on the ship.
Yeah, it's just like everything, you know, it doesn't really seem like there's too much time to take in the wonder of it all. And so that's certainly, maybe 2001 might err on the other side of that, but I think the overall experience of it, you know, it's still stood to this day. And it's, I mean, 68. So yeah, we're talking about, what is it? Like, we're talking about 50 years. So it's
no, I don't want a reboot. Never, please.
Yeah, no
leave
reboot.
it alone.
Yeah.
It's no. That would hurt me even more than the fact that I didn't have it on my top 10.
They probably haven't figured out how to do one yet, but
you know it's coming. That's
yeah.
Well, here's another thing to consider too, is like back in 68, could you imagine what it would be like seeing that movie in terms of like, and plus all the technology and everything that actually wound up coming true, was pretty incredible as well. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
I love that movie so much. Still a little dead inside. Okay. My number one. And let me just preface this by saying that this is a personal thing for me because like I said at the beginning of the stream, movies are subjective. So this is definitely not like everyone's favorite, and I understand that.
The
But
Room, Tommy Wiseau.
never even watched that movie. I've never even watched that movie. No, it wasn't that. It's just it's one of my. It is not just my.
You don't have to apologize,
movie.
Nina.
Is
No,
it
it's not.
it?
No, it's not just my favorite movie, of my top 10 list. It's my favorite all-time movie,
Oh,
and it's The Matrix. The Matrix
okay.
is my
fair.
all-time favorite movie, and of course, I couldn't not put it on as my number one because there's just so much personal stuff to it. Because I feel like it came to me at a point in my life when everything was just I literally felt like Keanu. There was one of those things where I felt like there was a splinter in my mind and I couldn't figure out what it was. And then that point in my life, it hit me and it was and I had a really interesting way that I saw it too, because I remember like I would see the trailer and it would just be like, what is the Matrix, and like, I was just like, oh, whatever, I wonder what it is. Like, it was great advertising, like everyone wanted to know like what it was at the time. They didn't even show any pictures of who was in it. It was just like, what is the Matrix, and everyone just wanted to know what it was. And I remember I went there to the movie theater with my boyfriend at the time, my first boyfriend, and we went to the movies to make out. Like, that's the only reason we went to the movies. And then so we were like, oh shit, the Matrix is out. Like, that was the Matrix movie. Okay, let's just go check it out. We're gonna make out the whole time anyway. So we sat there and we're just making out, and then all of a sudden the movie starts, and within like the first minute with Trinity and like that scene with her like just getting up and kicking the dude, and then like just her running away, everything, we were like this the entire time, beginning to the end. It was like this crazy, it was like we entered the Matrix, as it was just being shown to us. And I was like, we walked out of there like just looking at each other like, what the fuck did we just watch? And it was just one of those movies where I could see myself as Neo, because that was who I was. I always thought there was something wrong with the world, and I understood it when he had that conversation with Morpheus, when he said there's like, you're here because there's a splinter in your mind. And I'll never forget that moment. I was like, holy shit, that's me. And then like when he reached into the mirror, and that's like, it was, after that movie and like after certain things happened in my life, I would always go back to that movie, and it set me off on a spiritual journey. So like, it wasn't just like one of those things where, I liked it because, bullet time or whatever. Like, it was so impactful for me on such a soulful level that I think it shaped who I am as a person. So, and I mean, not to mention bullet time, the special effects, all that stuff. And I mean, like, just everything.
Oh, that was cool.
About it was so good.
Yeah, it's groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking cinema. It's, I don't think any movie has ever had that impact on me. So that's why the Matrix is my favorite movie of all time. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to explain it. It's definitely like a, well, I mean, I understand you explain, but I mean, you don't have to. I know you seemed a little hesitant about it, but it's like, it's a great.
It's just like, it can't be everything, because like my second is going to Alien, because you're thinking sci-fi, going to Alien, but it's just like I can't because there's no aliens in the Matrix, right? Like, it's not like that, quite that science fiction, because there's different types of science fiction, right? So you have that, science fiction with space and spaceships and all that stuff. And of course, you get kind of like the spaceships later on in the Matrix, like in the Revolution. But they're not spaceships, but they fly around, anti-grav.
It was also kind of cool too that at that time it tapped into what was becoming hacker culture too.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool that they included that element in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked because especially at that time, it was like the perfect time to incorporate that in there. I recently saw the Truman Show, or rewatched the Truman Show, and definitely some similar ideas there. Like, and I thought about, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess Truman Show technically would be, I guess it falls in the sci-fi category.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, just that idea.
No, I was gonna say dystopian, but it's not really dystopian because it's more like kind of like 1984 style. Like, well, that's more dystopian actually.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
I looked it up. It's a sci-fi. I mean, it's considered sci-fi comedy, which is I guess there's not too much in that, like in that niche, but it, that same idea of the character knowing that there's something more, being trapped in this world, and
exactly.
but the Matrix, of course, just does it on just this, where Morpheus is saying like the Matrix is everywhere. It's in your where it actually is like, it gets so like, it's very meta in that sense, like where like Morpheus isn't just talking to Neo, like he's talking to you.
He's talking to you. I felt like he was talking to me, and I was like, oh my God, this dude is talking to me. Like, is he talking to me? Like, what the hell's happening? Like, this, I'm telling you, it had such a powerful impact.
And they shot it that way.
Literally blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then he goes like, welcome to the real. And like, it just like the way it zooms out, and you're like, holy fuck. Like it was just so good.
Yeah. The visual effects in that film were like,
welcome to the desert of the real.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it was groundbreaking the same way like Jurassic Park was for it was like everybody was doing bullet time after.
Yeah. Everybody was doing it.
Everybody.
Yeah. And it was just like, by the way, you know what I found out the other day on the Dark Matter stream, because we were talking to someone, one of the directors, and he apparently worked as an assistant to John Candy for his first job, and he was telling us a story that apparently John Candy was up for the role of of Truman. And he had gotten the script and everything, and like, he read with them, and he was saying that like that he thought that John Candy was a better Truman than Jim Carrey was, and I always thought that was really fascinating, because how I always think about alternate realities. So I was imagining this alternate reality where John Candy was Harry Truman instead of Jim Carrey.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. It's hard to imagine anybody but Jim Carrey, but I mean, it could have worked, but that's interesting.
Just
someone should just deep face it.
Right.
That's so cool. He was with his mom.
Oh, cool.
I love meeting actors.
What who'd he say he meant?
Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Morpheus. That's why I loved in John Wick when Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu were back together again. I was like, oh my God, it's Morpheus and Neo. This is amazing. I love that. But yeah, it's just the Matrix, and I do like the second and the third one as well for different reasons. But the first one, just like you said, John, I feel like it could have even been like a standalone movie, and it would have been just perfect. It would have been. They didn't need to necessarily go back and do the other ones, but I mean they did, and whatever. I liked them, and while I enjoyed them, I never thought they were even near the first one. It just wasn't the same, because like we said, it had that impact already. Like that impact was already done. So I definitely don't think it was like Empire to Star Wars,
Right.
Like it didn't, as a sequel, it didn't, like maybe if it had been done better, I don't know, but And that's the other thing that I loved about the Matrix wasn't like, and maybe that's why they say it's a trans allegory, because now I keep thinking about it. But I didn't even identify, like I didn't identify as much with Trinity as I did with Neo, like as I did with Neo's character. Like I was just like, I really saw myself as Neo's character, because I was like,
But I think he was supposed to be the audience, though, right?
I think so, but I don't know, because I'm a girl. So I was like, I don't know. I really, I thought like, I was like, I'm like him. And I just love that scene where Morpheus has been captured and he's like, he's sitting there and Agent Smith is talking to him, and he like takes his earpiece out and he like, goes up and he's just like, I hate you guys. And he's just like, takes the sweat off his face, and he's like, the way you smell, and you're like a virus. And just the way like everyone acted, like everything about it was just so good on so many levels. Just hit every note.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at like the Academy Awards too, what was nominated for, I know it was 1999, which ultimately would be like 2000. So, what were some of the films that were nominated? American Beauty, The Insider, I think Cider House Rules, Green Mile. I don't know. I mean, it feels like the Oscars would, they're going to pick like the costume dramas or, these like typical movies. But I mean, I think if they were, it was, if they were like, I think The Matrix deserved, to be nominated for Best Picture. I think it was up there, but I think because there is that kind of like bias towards even sci-fi. It's not like the Academy really nominates a ton of sci-fi stuff either. And you just see these kind of like certain biases when it comes to what they. Now it did win. I think it wound up winning like 4 Academy Awards, but they were all like technical stuff. So they're like, we want to reward the film for like, the sound effects, editing, visual effects. I think it won like 4, but we're not gonna, we can't necessarily put in our more esteemed categories. And I'm like, nah. It's like, if you think about it, what movie has like stood the test of time? Like, you could argue that The Matrix is more popular than American Beauty.
By far. I mean, who talks about American Beauty anymore? Especially with Kevin Spacey being who he is now. Like,
when was the last time anyone watched it?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I watched it recently, but it's like, I don't think it's aged that well of course, for a number of different reasons, but even still, even apart from those reasons, I just don't think hasn't aged quite as well. Whereas like you can watch The Matrix is still timeless. Like,
it's still good. Yeah. And it still looks good. Like, it's not even there, like, when you look at the technology or something, you're like, man, it doesn't look that great. It's great. It's still so good. And it just like the whole thing was so well done. And Will, it wasn't because I wanted to be the savior of humanity. It was actually the opposite, because he denied that. It was more like I vibed with the idea of him, like his like, Mr. Anderson becoming Neo. And I really love that. And I love the idea of like how like when Cypher sold them out and he was like, ignorance is bliss, and he like, that translates into life, because there's certain things you go through in your life and certain people you meet where they don't want to go to a certain place, or they just can't look past something, and then they end up betraying you, or like you meet those kinds of people, and it just translates so well to actual life on so many levels. So whatever, Will.
I mean, he was kind of like a Judas. He was a Judas character, So it does have like, there are certain like religious undertones to it that you can kind of read into a little bit, but but that's the thing why it's so good, is because it's like a diamond. Like, there's just so much, there's just so much there, so much that's being pulled from too. And it's but it's wholly entirely unique as well. So
There's so many
and this
different
is
layers to it because you can also look at it as just this idea of you as a person pursuing your purpose
Mhm.
as opposed to being stuck in the mundane day-to-day life
Exactly.
you're
Yeah.
expected to
Exactly,
live.
Jane. And this
Like-
is one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. Oh, when he's in the Matrix. I mean that whole scene, like when he goes in the Matrix for the first time, like the not the actual Matrix, but like the program, and he's
Mhm.
like fighting Morpheus. Like that was so cool. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like just so many levels. It had everything. And then when they like brought out the guns, he's like, I need guns, lots of
row of
guns.
guns.
And the rows of guns show up. And then he goes like, like I need to fly this chopper. Like, and he's like, can I just download that? Like, and it's like, you can go ahead, fly the chopper now. Anyways, I think I've spoken enough about The Matrix. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight and talking about your favorite sci-fi movies. It's been like an absolute pleasure. Tell everybody where they can find you, Jane.
Yeah, you can find me here on YouTube where I post movie and television reviews and pop culture commentary. I just dropped a review of the Amazon Prime Video Bliss, which is interesting.
Ooh.
It's sort of a take on The Matrix, sort of. They try to be. So definitely check that out. You can also follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Jayne Theory.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Jane. That was
Thanks for
lovely.
inviting me. It's fun.
Lovely evening. Yes, Matrix in the theaters was everything. I completely agree. John Sensei, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me at John Talks on YouTube. So
He does live
There you
streams sometimes. They go on for hours. That's great.
yeah. So if you like, I don't know. It's the channels kind of went political in a lot of ways. So if it's not your bag, that's cool. I totally understand. So
A lot of your audience is in my chat, just FYI.
okay. Well, I appreciate all you.
Yes, and I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me tonight and talking about your favorite sci-fi movies. As always, it's a pleasure. And thank you everyone in the chat for being here and listening to us talk about our favorite movies and talking about yours. He's so unpopular. Like, who is he? I don't know.
Subscribe to Jayne Theory. That's who you
Yes, definitely.
Aw.
I mean, she's amazing.
Thank you.
do that.
And Final Death Star, because he really needs subs.
Yes.
And he's into like weird stuff. Okay. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna end the stream now. Thank you everybody again for joining us tonight. I think what day is it today? Today's Sunday. Tomorrow you can find me on Dark Matter Mondays on PJ's channel. Thank you so much, you guys. And John, are you gonna live stream tonight?
I might. We'll see.
Okay. So midnight hour for John's channel.
Maybe.
Maybe, possibly. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.